Hi, and welcome to this week's journal. This week, we're going to talk about this, the Obsbot Tiny. It's Monday morning. I first started seeing this little guy on social media about October, and it was, believe it was a Kickstarter program that they were trying to start. But then in January and February, I actually started seeing reviews for this camera, and the reviews were all really good. So given the fact that we are all working from home, teaching from home, I thought I would get one of these just to try out, and I have not been disappointed. First of all, this is a USB-C camera, a single USB-C out, powered from over the USB-C. It's a 1080p camera, 1920 by 1080. So it's high def. It's not 4K or anything like that, but it is high def. One of the cooler things about it is that it actually comes with a monitor mount. This can sit right on top of your computer monitor, and it is magnetic to the camera. Now it also has a thread, so you can put it onto a regular tripod or camera mount or wall mount if you wanted to. But I like the fact that this will actually fit on top of your computer monitor. And at the price point of $199, that actually makes it fairly compatible to some of the other high-end webcams that you can get that are not PTZ, by the way. This also has a really nice feature on it that will do speaker tracking. Now, for most of us sitting at our desks for work from home, we don't care about speaker tracking. We just want it to look okay. But I think there's a couple use cases where this would be an actually wonderful thing to have, especially if you're a teacher or if you're in telemedicine. But enough, we'll get into that in a few minutes. Let's go ahead and fire this up, and we'll switch over to that camera now.
All right, so now we're switched over to the Obsbot Tiny. And as you can see, the field of view is actually really good on this camera. And we're also using the built-in audio microphone that is in the camera as well. So for work from home, I think this is a great little option. It allows for a good field of view, and especially if you're doing demoing or if you're doing teaching or anything like that from home, this would be a nice camera to have. Let's get into a little bit about what they call their AI. And it's gesture-based, meaning that you use your hands to control the camera. There are two options for controlling the camera. One is the zoom. It's a 2x zoom, which doesn't really give you much, but it does give you a little bit. And then there's a follow me feature that allows the camera to follow your face wherever you go. So let's look at the zoom first. And the gesture control for that is this. Again, I know there's not that many gestures out there, but I don't see very many people doing that. Honestly, I don't think that they would, on video, do something like this where it goes zoom in and out. The one I think that actually will be used is the gesture for follow me, and that is an open palm. It blinks 3 times, and now it will follow you wherever you go. I think that one's probably a lot more usable, especially if you were a teacher and you were using this in a classroom where you were going over and writing on the whiteboard, and then you were going back over to a station and doing a experiment, or you were looking at letters on a board or a word wall or anything like that. This camera could then follow you without having to have a PTZ control or have somebody else do that for you. That, I think, is a great selling point to this. Something also that is really cool is that if you're on a soft codec like Zoom or Teams or anything like that, this camera allows for far-end camera control. Now, what that means is that if I'm sitting here with my camera and somebody else is on the other end, they can control the PTZ of this camera if I allow them access to. That may not seem like much, but in the telemedicine world, especially when you're doing things like telestroke or you're looking for nerve damage, or you're looking at a wound or something like that, being able to control the camera and see exactly what you want to see and not have to rely on someone else in the room, or if you're in a patient's home and doing triage or something in a patient's home, or looking over the facility itself, being able to control the camera and move around and see what you need to see is actually kind of a big deal. And for the most part, we've had to have large systems in order to be able to do that. You had to have a PTZ that plugged into power and control, and it just, there hasn't been a really good option for that in a while. I think this is a fantastic option. One, because it is very, very small. Two, the price point, and it doesn't need a separate power supply. So this can plug into any laptop and you're ready to go as soon as the call starts. I think that's a pretty big thing that they don't bring up on their website at all. They talk about this for content creating, and I see if you were doing, like on their website, they talk about skateboarding, or you're doing gymnastics or something like this, and this follows you through. Fantastic. But most of us aren't those kind of content creators. So that really doesn't fit into what we're doing. But in the case of teaching, especially teaching from home or teaching in the classroom or doing telemedicine, I think that this camera is a really, really nice option. So going forward, high def camera, AI gesture control, and a really nice price point makes it sit right in with the Logitechs and the Jabras and the other companies of the world, and it's a PTZ, which you don't get. The next version up of a PTZ is twice the money, and it's also twice the size. So again, is this going to be everybody's camera? No, absolutely not. Are there use cases where this is going to be a great camera? I absolutely believe so. And with that, that's my review of the Obsbot Tiny, and we will see you next Monday.